Hey, it's Alex from Horror Bites. You won't believe what happened when I moved next to him. This story happened last year when I moved into my first apartment. What I thought would be a fresh start, a new chapter in my life, quickly became a living nightmare. Have you ever had a creepy neighbor? Let me know in the comments below. At first, everything seemed normal. I was so excited to have my own place. The building was old but had character. Most of the neighbors I met in the hallway seemed nice enough. The family across the hall always said hi, and the old lady downstairs would smile and wave. But there was something off about the apartment right next door, the one that shared a wall with my bedroom. From the day I moved in, it was just silent. Too silent. Would you notice something strange if you were me? I tried to ignore it, telling myself I just had a quiet neighbor, which was a good thing, right? But the feeling wouldn't go away. It was this constant, low-level hum of unease. Then, the little thing started. I first noticed him when I was taking out the trash one evening. I glanced up at his window and saw a shadow, just a silhouette, moving quickly behind the curtains. It was there 1 second, gone the next. I tried to brush it off as my imagination. But then, I started hearing things at night. Faint murmurs like someone was talking to themselves, coming through the wall. Sometimes, I'd hear soft footsteps pacing back and forth, always at odd hours, when the rest of the building was completely still. I knew the guy next door lived alone, so who was he talking to? Would you knock, or would you just stay away? Things got worse. The faint sounds turned into something much more personal, much more terrifying. It started with soft taps on the wall, right behind my headboard, just as I was about to fall asleep. Tap, tap, tap. I'd sit bolt upright, my heart hammering in my chest, listening. Silence. Then, just as I'd lie back down, it would happen again. Doors in my own apartment started creaking open on their own. I'd close my bathroom door before bed, only to wake up and find it wide open. Small objects would be slightly out of place. A book I left on the coffee table would be on the floor. My keys, which I always put in a bowl by the door, would be on the kitchen counter. It felt like he wasn't just in his apartment anymore. It felt like he was in mine. It felt like he was always watching me. Have you ever had that feeling? That unshakable sense that you're being watched? Comment your experience. I couldn't take it anymore. I was barely sleeping, jumping at every little sound. I was exhausted, paranoid, and terrified. I knew I had to do something. I had to confront him. One afternoon, with my heart pounding, I walked over to his door. I could hear shuffling on the other side before I even knocked. I took a deep breath and knocked. It took him a long time to answer. The door finally creaked open just a few inches. He was pale, sweating, and wouldn't make eye contact. He had this strange, forced smile on his face. I tried to explain the noises, the knocking. He just stared at me, nodding, pretending he had no idea what I was talking about. He said the building was old, that pipes make noises. But I knew he was lying. I could see it in his eyes. He was hiding something. He asked if I wanted to come in for a cup of tea to talk about it. His apartment behind him was dark, and I could smell something strange, like damp earth and something else. Something sweet. What would you do? Would you step inside or just leave? Vote in the comments. That night was the worst night of my life. I didn't take him up on his offer. I went back to my apartment, locked the door, and pushed the chair under the handle. But it didn't matter. Around 3 a.m, I woke up, not to a noise, but to a feeling. The feeling of not being alone. The air in my room was cold. I slowly opened my eyes. And that's when I heard it. Footsteps. Inside my room. Soft, shuffling footsteps on my own carpet. My blood ran cold. Then a voice. A raspy whisper right next to my ear. It whispered my name, Alex. My heart stopped. I didn't think. I just reacted. I screamed and scrambled out of bed, fumbling for the light switch. As the light flickered on, I saw a silhouette, a tall, thin shadow, slip out of my bedroom door and disappear into the darkness of the hallway. I ran out of my apartment, screaming for help. Hit like if this gave you chills. The police came. They searched my apartment from top to bottom. They searched his. They found nothing. No signs of a break-in. No one there. My neighbor denied everything, looking at me with those same empty, smiling eyes. My other neighbors came out, looking concerned, but they hadn't heard or seen anything. The police were kind, but I could tell they thought I was crazy or had a nightmare. I never stayed alone in that apartment again. I stayed with friends until my lease was up. The creepy neighbor eventually moved out a few months later, just as quietly as he had lived there. But I'll never forget those nights. I'll never forget that voice whispering my name in the dark. Subscribe for more stories like this, and comment if you think the neighbor was real or just in my head. Do you dare live next door to someone like this? Thanks for watching Horror Bites. If you want more chilling stories, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss our next video. And while you're at it, check out our other tales of terror. And remember, some neighbors aren't who they seem. Stay safe out there.